Welcome to the Podcast Playbook, where we amplify your voice, amplify your business, and amplify your impact. We are AmplifYou. Let's go.
Hey, amplifiers. Welcome back to the Podcast Playbook. I'm Troy, your podcast production leading coach here at AmplifYou. Today, we're going to unpack something every expert, coach, and consultant needs to hear. And that's why every expert business needs a podcast. Now, you might be thinking, do I really need one more thing on my plate? And here's the thing. Your podcast isn't one more thing. It's the thing that pulls everything in your business together. So if you ever wondered whether starting a show is worth the time, or if it can actually bring in clients, or even if it's worth the time to continue podcasting if you already have one, I want this episode to give you the full picture of why podcasting is important to you and your business. So let's start with this. You can have the best offer in the world, but if no one hears your voice, they're never going to feel confident enough to buy. Visibility is easy. You can post reels, run ads, or show up at events, but visibility doesn't automatically create trust. Trust is built when people know you, how you think, how you solve problems, and what you stand for. And that's what podcasting does better than any other medium. When someone listens to your voice every week, whether it's in their car, on their walk, while they're making dinner, or watching on YouTube, they're not just hearing you, they're connecting with you. That's the moment you stop being a name online and start being someone they trust. So the next time you're stressing about posting every day, remember, you don't need more content. What you need is more connection. So now let's talk about focus, because not every podcast works. The ones that stand out are the ones that know exactly who they're talking to. Too many experts try to speak to everyone. And when you do that, your message gets watered down. Your niche is your advantage. It's the intersection of your experience, your insights, and the specific problem that you are trying to solve. Let's say you're a leadership coach for healthcare professionals. That's your lane. You can spend 20 minutes each week exploring real issues that they deal with burnout, staff retention, communication challenges, all through the lens of your expertise. That's what creates loyal listeners. Because when someone hears you speaking directly to their situation, they stop scrolling, they stay, they subscribe. So here's a quick framework to think about your niche podcast strategy. Start with the transformation you help people achieve. Identify the specific person you want to help. Build episodes around the journey, not just the end result. And always use examples that come from their world, not just yours. That's how you build loyalty that goes way beyond downloads. Now, let's talk about authority, because this is where most entrepreneurs underestimate the power of their podcast. You can tell people you're an expert, or you can show them. Every episode you publish becomes proof of your expertise. When someone hears you explain a complex task in simple terms or share a real client story, you're giving them evidence. They're not just learning, they're trusting. And here's what's powerful. Your voice humanizes your expertise. People remember how you sounded, your confidence, your energy, your conviction. That emotion sticks. It's what separates experts who get noticed from those who stay invisible. So think of your podcast as your living resume, not the static kind with bullet points and dates, but one that actually talks back and builds trust every single week and grows with every episode that you put out. All right, so here's one of my favorite things about podcasting. It flips the traditional sales process on its head. You're not chasing leads anymore, you're attracting them in. People choose to listen. They show up because they resonate with you, your values, your story, your approach. By the time they reach out, they already feel like they know you. They've heard your tone, your logic, your personality. And because of that, they're not asking, why should I hire you? They're asking, how can we work together? That's the difference between marketing that feels pushy and marketing that feels like a service. When you focus on relationships first, revenue naturally follows. Your podcast builds three things marketing can't buy. First, the emotional connection. People can feel your sincerity. The advocacy, when listeners become your best referrers. And longevity. They grow with you episode after episode. And if you want to sell less and connect more, lead with your voice. Okay, so let's get practical for a minute. From a business strategy standpoint, your podcast can fuel everything else you do. It's not a side project, it's your content hub. Each episode can be repurposed. You can use them as blog posts for your SEO. You can use short clips and carousels for your social media, your email content to nurture your list. You've got YouTube videos as a podcast, and you can use them as shorts to get more impressions and eyes on your show. This is exactly how we think at AmplifYou. Your podcast isn't separate from your business. It's the foundation that keeps your content consistent and connected. One great conversation can turn into 10 marketing assets. And because they all start from your authentic voice, they stay on brand. That's what I mean when I say your podcast does the heavy lifting for you. So let's clear up one of the biggest misconceptions about podcasting. That success is all about the downloads. It's really not. The real value of your show is in the depth of your influence. You don't need 10,000 listeners to grow your business. Like, people compare themselves to Joe Rogan all the time and the amount of downloads that he gets. But let's remember, he started someplace else. He was known before he started podcasting. So he brought in a really huge crowd to his show already. So like I said, you don't need the 10,000 listeners to grow your business. You just need the right 100. The ones who share their values, who connect with your message, and who see you as the trusted expert they're looking for. Those are the listeners who become clients, collaborators, or partners. And that's where your true return on investment comes in. Every opportunity, from speaking invitations to joint ventures, often start with the simple phrase, "I heard you on your podcast." So if you're thinking, okay, I'm ready, but I don't know where to start, here's what I'd tell you. You don't need the fancy gear. You don't need a massive audience. You just need that clarity. Ask yourself those three questions. Who am I speaking to? What transformation do I help them achieve? And how will each episode move them closer to working with me? Once you've got those answers, you're ready. And of course, if you want help with everything else, from the editing, the publishing, all the systems, that's where we come in at AmplifYou. We help experts turn their podcast into a business asset that runs on their voice. So here's my final thought for today. Your voice is your brand. It carries emotion, conviction, and connection, things that can't be faked or automated. If you're ready to build authority, grow your reach, and connect with your niche in a deeper way, it's time to start your podcast. Not because everyone else is doing it, but because your expertise deserves to be heard. Now, if you're thinking of launching a podcast for your business, download our podcast playbook and book a free strategy call with us. The links are in the show notes. So, until next time, happy podcasting.
Oh, you are still here. I'm honored. Thank you. If you're ready to take the next step, go grab the podcast playbook. It's free, AmplifyYou.com. Every step you need is there. And if we can help, don't be afraid to reach out. Happy podding.